Welcome to the Golden Com Podcast. Special guest with me today, Greg Zimmer. Greg Zimmer, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
All right, fantastic. You know, it's an honor to sit with you, not just because I've heard that you're an amazing person talking to a couple of your folks that you work with, but the track record that you have at Alliant is very inspiring, and it's certainly what we're going to get in today, and certainly what people want to hear about. But I know you're a big people person, and so am I. So in order to get to Alliant, we got to learn more about Greg. So if you wouldn't mind, could you give us an idea of where you grew up? Do you have a mom and a dad and a family? And maybe what was the best part about where you grew up? Would you mind sharing a little bit about that with us?
No, not at all. California-based, lived in California my entire life, grew up in San Diego. My parents came here from North Dakota, so Midwestern roots. Interesting way we got here. My father, and I didn't know this until I was a teenager, dropped out of college because he wanted to fly in the Navy. And so he ended up flying in the Navy, and they docked in San Diego, and the minute he got off the ship, he said, this is where I'm going to live. So it was a circuitous route for him to get to San Diego, but he was determined to get there. And so big family, 3 brothers, a sister, parents still alive. Everybody's down in San Diego. So it was a great place to be raised, and unbelievable parents and really tight-knit family.
Right. Well, and so in that regard, you haven't gotten very far, have you? You're still in San Diego, aren't you?
Still in San Diego.
That's pretty good.
It's okay. The goal isn't to go very far.
Well, why would you leave?
Right.
Why would you leave? So great. So, okay. So you have a normal child. Do you like sports?
Yeah.
Are you a competitive person? Or what do you remember about any of that?
People would say I'm a competitive person, and I think that's okay. Yeah. I'm a jack of all trades, so I just like to be active. Yeah, I'm intellectually curious. I'm active from a physical perspective, and I just, I never learned the chill pill part of it. So sometimes it drives my friends and my family nuts that I can't sit still. But I love it. I love every minute of every day, and just try to take advantage of it, and it's all good.
That's great. That's great. So I did see on your bio and your LinkedIn that you made your way to Westwood.
I did.
Was that a 4-year? And what made you want or go to UCLA?
Yeah, well, there's another story there too. So my older brother, who's a year and a half older, 1 grade older, he was doing his college visit. So of course, my parents said, well, Greg, why don't you tag along as well? So and we were a middle class family, so we were definitely going to, a school we could afford. So we were looking at, So we were looking at the state schools, and the minute we stepped on UCLA's campus, I looked at my brother and I said, don't go here because this is where I want to go. As it turns out, he did go there, and I went there, and my 2 younger brothers went there as well. So big Bruin family. My wife's a Bruin, his wife's a Bruin. So big roots at UCLA, and I actually doubled up. I was there as an undergrad, worked for a few years in downtown LA, and then went back and got my master's, my MBA from UCLA as well.
You did an Anderson.
I did an Anderson.
Was it full time or?
It was full time.
Full time Anderson.
Yeah, I was really between. Do I want to stall my career and go back? And best decision I ever made was to go back full time. I would see these poor guys coming in at 8 o'clock at night after working 10-hour days and having a family and trying to, go to class and do their work and make it all. Yeah, was really fortunate that I was able to go back full time.
Okay, so did they have an accounting track there? Because did you go the CPA route after that?
I did not.
Okay,
I did not.
Tell me about an early job or two.
Yeah. So, I've worked since forever, and just started when I was, 10 years old, sweeping sidewalks and mowing lawns, and I've always had a job. So all through school worked, and it was just natural. Had a great opportunity in college when I was at UCLA to work for a bank, actually in their corporate headquarters. In fact, it was they had just received their first personal computer, and it sat in the mailroom, and nobody had a clue. on how to even turn the thing on, nor did I. But they hired me to learn how to use this computer and how to do spreadsheets and analysis and all that. And I kind of became invaluable to the organization because nobody else knew how to use this thing. So that's what really launched my career. I stayed there. It was their corporate finance group, and that's where I started. The name of the bank was Security Pacific Bank that ultimately merged with Bank of America. And so it was just a great way to start a career.
That's great. And because you're young and you have an MBA, they just assume that you should have the computer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what a blessing.
It was.
Right?
It was.
Because the internet's just starting here.
Oh,
right.
And
networking is just starting.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
The internet didn't exist.
Right. It's just like the ARPANET.
It was floppy disks, if you remember those.
Well, there's these supercomputers, these campuses that were sharing files for research.
Right.
And we would hear about it. Right. And then all of a sudden, like Gopher and email came up, and I remember you were contemporaries right there.
Yeah,
so it's very exciting.
Great.
I feel lucky to be alive today also because we're seeing something else, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. We can talk about
We'll talk a little bit about that, because it's really, we got to see both ends of it.
Yeah.
Like we're still here.
We're still here.
Yeah, so good. Okay, so let's just let's see if we can get to the meat of it. How did you did you always think you're going to be a business person or you went the accounting route though? Didn't you?
Or
finance.
Never, always finance.
Okay.
Never the accounting route. In
so,
fact, a lot of people would say I was a horrible CFO. That's why they had to promote me. No, always finance. Always had really strong accounting people within the organization working with us. But yes, I always viewed myself as a business person from day one. You may be asking how did I find Alliant and how did that all come about? Another crazy story where my father's best friend, who also happened to be my junior high school basketball coach, was a producer at what was the Robert F. Driver Company, which is now Alliant. And he was just an amazing person. And I really put him up on a pedestal. And one day I got a very random phone call from him saying, "Hey, Greg, we are looking for a CFO." And of course, him being the great salesperson he was a great producer. I said, "I'm not looking for a CFO type position." Anyways, he talked me into coming in and meeting with our chairman, Tom Corbett, and one thing led to another, and I joined the firm.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's very
What's
random.
Coach's name?
What's that?
What's his name?
His name is Jack Warnock, and he's no longer with us, unfortunately.
He passed away.
Fabulous, fabulous guy.
Yeah. Would you consider him a mentor?
No, I wouldn't consider him a mentor, but I would certainly consider him someone that I looked up to in life.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for leapfrogging us to the current situation, which is Alliant. How many years has it been, roughly?
Boy, 28.
28 years.
28 years.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well, let's start talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here. So, you said basketball.
Yes.
That's what you said. And I'd be remiss that if I hear the word basketball and I also hear UCLA, I'd be remiss not to talk about this Wizard of Westwood, and his name is
Coach Wooden. I think we've all heard of him, right?
Coach Wooden, right. And it's really interesting, and this is not going to be a Coach Wooden talk, but this will be an interesting analogy. There's a lot of times when you see greatness, you see someone like Coach Wooden, and you see greatness. To me, there's two camps of people who look at greatness. Camp number one is they audit the greatness, and they start making excuses on why it was so great, and that was a different era, and he had this going for him, and there's no way you could do that because of NIL or whatever excuse you want to make. That's great. Another camp is how in the heck did he do that?
Yeah.
So I like to be in that camp.
Yeah.
Can we be in that camp?
Yeah. Let's be in that camp.
One argument about Coach and how he was able to do it was people who study it may agree, they probably will agree, he had the best players. Coach Wooden had the best players. But he also had a great, if not the greatest system. So it's not just the system, and it's not just the players.
Yeah.
It's great players meet great system, and you have a chance to do wildly impressive things.
Yeah.
And then I looked at Alliant, right? And I also talked to some people at Alliant. And I'm not comparing you to Coach Wooden, because I know that that would embarrass you.
Yes.
But you've got some Coach Wooden philosophies in here where you have sought out the best players. You've sought them out. And, some people call it leveraged hires, or they might call lifting out.
Yeah.
Can you give me an idea of, is that part of the philosophy of Alliant, is to recruit or look at or get the best people? Is that part of the philosophy that you and Tom have brought up?
Yeah, and I'm glad you said you and Tom, because this is and it's far beyond you and Tom. This is a we thing. It's not a me thing, truly in its sense. This is a team effort, but yes, the analogy, I've never thought of that analogy, but it's a fabulous analogy, because we preach day in, day out, find the A players, find the best players, don't waste your time with the B players. So that's always been our philosophy, is find great people and then give them the landscape and the environment and the infrastructure and the tools, the plan.
The system.
Yeah,
the system.
To do great things. And that's been the mantra from day one and that's really how we've built this thing. So what a great analogy. I give you a lot of credit for that.
Well, thank you, because I felt like it was almost dead on.
Yeah.
Right. So these people that I found, you've got yourself, Tom, Ralph, right? Peter.
Yeah.
Right. So there are some pillars here.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But then there's another Peter, Ackley. Is that right?
Yeah, Peter Arkley.
Arkley, yeah. Well, he's
critical to the organization.
Well, he's a problem, actually. I've done some research.
Oh, he's a problem.
Yeah, well, he has
I didn't realize
building
that.
at USC named after him.
Well,
so
that is a problem.
Is that going to be okay?
That is a problem. Yeah.
So tell me
we still don't shake hands.
So tell me about that building. What is
It's
that?
amazing.
Yeah.
Peter is an unbelievable person, an unbelievable insurance veteran, well respected in the industry. And he formed this tie with USC. They're to create a risk management program, and what a perfect place for it. So I joke with him. I think it's fabulous. I wish UCLA had it, to be honest. And so it's just amazing what he's done there, and the time and effort he's put into it, and the financial resources he's committed to it as well. So it's great for our industry.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable. So the more research I do, the more interesting it gets. Early on in your tenure there, you and Tom and maybe some others you guys seem to have carved out some verticals.
We did.
Is that right? So and it looked like it was public sector to some degree.
Yep.
And that's probably lent its way to other verticals. So maybe a little bit about your philosophy on specialization. Is that
Yeah. So when I joined the company back in 1998, we basically had two offices. We had our San Diego office and we had our Newport Beach office. The San Diego office, it would be the quintessential middle market, Main Street generalist operation, and the Newport Beach office, which Tom started and Ralph joined soon after, was the exact opposite. All they did were public agencies, highly in fact, all they did were California public agencies. And it didn't take a math major to figure out the San Diego operation, it was fine, but it was growing at kind of industry rates. It had industry level margins. And then you look over here and you see this, this thing over here up in Newport Beach growing, 4 times faster, driving better margins, people far more focused. And we said, listen, you don't need to throw away San Diego, but let's go do a lot more of this Newport Beach stuff, right? So that was really the foundation back in 1998 when we bought this business, was to go out and really build a specialty platform. And even to this day, although we're obviously much larger and we have our hands in a lot of different places, but still the majority of the business remains highly specialty oriented. And the reason for that is quite simple. It's not that we love specialization just for the sake of specialization. It's that specialization helps us grow faster. Specialization's more profitable. Specialization creates better career paths. All of the above, it all lines up. So that's really been the foundation of the organization. Not everything is specialty in nature within the organization, but that's what really drove the organization.
The expertise, yeah. Because now I see things like, our USC friend, it looks like he has a big part of the risk in construction. Is that a whole practice on its own?
Well, it is, and his job is far, far greater than that.
Sure,
Now he handles all of our retail operations, which
Okay.
is the majority of the business, but where he cut his teeth was in construction. So, what happened was we started with public agencies, and then we were very fortunate early on to acquire a business that did Indian nations or tribes, which are kind of quasi-public agencies, right? So we were familiar with it, and they were familiar with us. And then we, looked up one day and we said, wow, in this public agency book, we have a ton of healthcare business, and that's what really spawned the healthcare practice. And then we look again at the collective book, we say, wow, we're huge in property. That's what spawned the real estate practice. So it wasn't completely random. It was like branches very naturally coming, growing off of a tree. And, and one branch leads to another. So it's been...
I think that is natural, and particularly when you have curious people, and which sounds like that's a big value of yours, is being curious about how to do things. So, and this is for my audience, because my audience is not a insurance audience, just a business audience, right?
Yeah.
You said the retail is the lion's share of the business. Does that mean you also do some wholesale? Is that what that means?
Great question.
Okay. And will you explain that to us? Because I don't know if we understand that.
In its simplest form, retail in our world means you are working directly with the person that's writing the insurance premium check. So that could be an individual if it's a personal lines. That could be the owner or CFO of a business. It's where your client is the person that's actually getting the insurance. In the world of insurance, though, there are several layers to where you get to what is, the carrier or the ultimate risk taker. So there are intermediaries beyond the retailer. There's MGAs, there's wholesalers, there's MGUs, there's a variety of other vehicles that can be used to get to the ultimate person that's taking the risk, if you will. And so the bulk of our business is retail, but we also play in varying degrees in other parts of the insurance distribution chain as well.
That's neat. So another word, if you wouldn't mind, for my audience, this notion of marketing. People think marketing is just marketing, like you would market your company. Yeah. But in your business, marketing probably means something else.
It does. When people, you're right. Most people, when they think marketing, they're thinking billboards and TV ads and radio shows and all of that kind of stuff. In our world, when someone says they're in marketing, that tends to mean that they are working with the carriers to place our client's business in an optimal manner. So marketing, depending upon who you're talking to, because we do have corporate marketing folks that are doing branding.
Of course, yes.
But really, marketing folks within the insurance business are people that are interfacing predominantly with the markets, i.e. carriers, to find the best solution for our clients.
Okay, and so I don't want to talk too much on that, but I would imagine that's got to be a strength of yours, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you don't have a channel for fulfillment, which is to a large degree marketing, and it sounds like you've got 4 or 5 different ways to approach these underwriters.
We absolutely do, and it varies. So we're fortunate now where we have the size and scale that we have top tier relationships with virtually all of the carriers out there. So it's one of the advantages that we bring to our clients, which is, hey, we have access to everyone at the highest level, right? So it ensures that we can deliver the optimal product to our client at the end of the day. And we do that in different ways that we can get into, but I'd probably bore you to death.
No, it wouldn't bore me, but we don't have time, so we'll get back to another one. Some people that I've met, and some more verticals is, Bill Mecklenburg.
Sure.
Right? Just a sentence on his vertical. Like, what did you see? Because he's a lift out, right?
Yeah, well, he was actually an acquisition.
He was an acquisition.
Okay.
Just so as an example, how does that happen? Would you mind telling me? Do you remember the acquisition?
Yeah. I definitely
How'd you meet him? What'd you say? Who
First
said
of all,
first?
if you've actually met Bill,
I have.
Unbelievable guy, right? And anybody that's ever met Bill would say unbelievable guy.
And an incredible watch.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, yeah,
see the watch.
What a great
all right,
watch.
next time. Well, I'm going to see him today. I'm going to look for the watch. All right. So Bill and his partner, Bill actually was Orange County based. His partner was North Carolina, I believe. But so through a series of mutual friends and relationships, we met, And it became very clear that what they were doing fit so well into Alliant and our strategy, people first, specialization, the whole package. It was a perfect fit. And they saw it as well. So Bill's a great example of someone where he came in with a very niche-y business, basically they did a couple of things, but one that your entire audience can relate to is, there's a lot of people out there that will buy homes, fix them up, and then flip them, right? Doing fix and flips. And, some of those folks may own 20, 30, 40 homes. Well, they were the insurance provider for a lot of those folks. That was one part of their business, these fix and flips. They built it into more and more. But Bill, as an individual, really showed the ability to do more than that. And now, as we sit here today, Bill is responsible for all of our what we call MGAs, which means they have a product and they distribute it through the retailers I was mentioning to you that ultimately gets to the client. So Bill has a much larger job in the organization today than he did 10, 12 years ago.
Okay. So the reason I brought him up is because, I've met him. And so it's easy for me to talk about it. And the other reason I bring it up, and we won't talk too much on this either, because we got to talk about AI.
Yeah.
If we don't talk about AI, we're gonna flunk because it's right in front of everybody. People want to
I know,
hear
and you're
it.
not even real. Like I'm looking at you, and it's unbelievable what AI can do today.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Bill. He's explained to me what he does. I'm kind of keeping up with him just because I'm curious. I have lots of curiosity around business. And then I asked him, how it's going here. And he was doing like a training program for other Alliant people that were coming on.
Okay.
And I could tell from his energy that he was so flipping into it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And where this is interesting, Greg, is this is not normal. What's not normal is as companies acquire or join or do, what happens is in a lot of companies, the mojo comes down.
Yeah.
Because it's not yours anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
But what I have noticed is the mojo's going up. So how the heck do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, you get us a couple sound bites.
Yeah.
But there's also this folklore about this shrine in the lobby with people. Mm. And it's not there anymore. Mm. Is there anything you can tell us about that? I mean, it's kind of a symbol of maybe how the company operates.
Yeah.
You don't have to if you don't want.
No, it's just, it shouldn't be about individuals. It should be about the team. It should be about the system. It should be about all of the people in the organization. And when I see something that's more about the individual than the team or the company, it doesn't feel right to me. Mm-hmm. So that's perhaps why it's not there anymore.
You took it down.
Yeah.
That's the philosophy.
Yeah.
And now you also take it down with your wallet. Okay. I've also done some research, and I believe you're 50% owned by the employees,
which is a unicorn.
It's not an ESOP. It's not an ESOP.
No, it's not an ESOP.
But it is stock.
It is stock.
Okay.
It is employee owned. It's 50%. And there's a lot of companies out there that are 100% owned or 50% owned by their employees. There are no companies out there of our size that are 50% owned by. Very, very few, and none in our industry, not even close. So, the single biggest investment that many of our employees have today continues to be their stock in Alliant. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the motivation factor, right? Where they can see that the results of them, along with their teammates, if they can do better than the industry, they're going to be rewarded financially, which is great.
It's so inspiring. It's capitalism at its finest.
Yeah,
right?
It
really is. And thank God we live here in this country where we do that and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I can learn a lot from that. So I'm taking copious notes, and probably others could too, because look at the success and the growth that you've had. Yeah. Okay, maybe 30 seconds on the growth, just so we can put in context, and then let's talk about some AI.
Sure.
Then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
So tell me about the growth.
Okay, let's see. 1998, when Tom Corbett led a buyout of what was then the Robert F. Driver Company, we were 25 million in revenue, 100 or so employees, and here we sit today, somewhere around close to 6 billion in revenue, and they never give me the real number, but 14 to 15,000 employees, somewhere in that range. So yeah, we've grown a little bit.
Grown a little bit,
Yeah.
and I don't know when I read things, the biggest, the tallest, the shiniest. It's you have all these angles that you can put, but you're a very large privately held insurance company.
Yeah,
and subjectively the first, second, third, fourth, fifth largest.
Right. So
one.
we are. They tell me we are the 5th largest insurance broker in the world, and the largest privately held. So the 4 in front of us are all public companies, and there's a number of public companies that are smaller than us as well. But we are the single largest privately held broker in the world.
Well, let's go with that until someone can prove us differently.
Yeah, I love it.
Why not? Okay. Do you have time to talk about AI?
Sure.
It's here. It's very complicated in highly regulated industries, particularly privacy and So there's some industries that I think have a little bit more at stake than others, but then you can't sit there and be frozen.
No.
Can't be frozen, right? So as Coach Wooden said, that not all change is good, but there is no progress without change. What are you guys looking at changing with the advent of these tools that are coming at all of us with these LLMs, these RAGs, we're in a revolution right now. We're in Q1.
Yeah.
We're in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You guys looking at this, or maybe some sound bites on what you're doing? If you're allowed to tell me what you're doing with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me start by, it's not optional, right? It's not going away.
No.
And by the way, it's not getting worse either. It will only get better and exponentially. So if you're in business and you're choosing to put your head in the sand and pretend it's not here, you're going to lose. So from my perspective, it's the most exciting opportunity that we as business executives have had in the last 20 years to really revolutionize how we do business. And there's one camp that fears I'm going to lose my job, and there's the other camp that says I am going to get as good as I can and be as knowledgeable as I can about these tools and how to use them. And when I look at that, to me, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you? Nobody's an expert at this point, on a relative scale. This is an opportunity for all of us to be at the starting line at the same time. There aren't people 10 years ahead of you. Just pick it up. Just start using it, which, by the way, it's so easy to use. And so there's a huge opportunity for all of us to embrace it, to engage, and to make yourself invaluable to your company, to your industry, anything you choose to do. So it's a point in time where people need to choose, am I going to pretend it's not there, or am I going to engage and embrace it? And for those that engage and embrace it, I believe they will become invaluable to their organization. So that's my mantra, that's my narrative. Are we going to use it? Of course we're going to use it. We have a number of initiatives already underway. The key will be execution, right? That's the key is, and I've been spending a lot of time on this, and there's a lot of companies are dabbling, a lot of companies are doing pilots, but taking a pilot and executing it on a broader scale, that's where it gets interesting. That's where it gets complex. And there's change management components to that. So it is complex, but it's very real. It's not going anywhere. And it's a real opportunity for all of us to make our business better and ultimately deliver that to the clients as well. So I view it 99% opportunity, 1% scary.
Yeah, I love it.
For business.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Well, my philosophy is similar to yours, which is, the tech and the LLMs are not going to transform your business. The people are. And of course, these are tools that you give your people to transform your business.
That's right.
Right. And anyone who's looking at it like a tech first problem is going to have heartache at the end, because if the people aren't in the right place, on the right seats, in the right motivation, in the right, it doesn't matter. It won't work.
100%. 100% agree.
Right? And I'm just excited to watch you because you've got the people thing down. I'm excited to see what you do with tech. Inherently interested in how tech affects organizations. And if you wouldn't mind, maybe I can have you back here sometime. because this was a great conversation, and I learned a lot, and I appreciate you spending time with me.
Well, you're very welcome. I enjoyed it as well.
Thanks, Greg. I
All right,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, you bet.